Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees. So the Yankees, after sweeping the Mets, only lose 2 games, had a chance to feel good for themselves. Again, at that point, 3 games in a row, heading out to Oakland on this long West Coast road trip. It would include Oakland, Anaheim, and then a stop in St. Pete, Tropicana for 3 games against the Rays first, finally coming home to New York. Now, if you remember, the Yankees' previous road trip early August was an absolute disaster against the Cardinals, against the Mariners there. I mean, you got swept by the Cardinals, able to get 1 game against the Mariners there, and of course, losing 2 out of 3 to the Boston Red Sox. So again, it was like a 2-7 road trip there. So you would hoping for better things against 2 clubs. Both Oakland and Anaheim are just in a bad place right now. Record-wise, almost the opposite. Yankees almost 30 games above 500. Oakland starting off around 30 games below 500. So you figure an opportunity against 4 games there to really pick up on that good little finish to the homestand there and build up some wins again, just to start getting back into the winning ways, the way the Yankees were back, May and June, and not the way they were for the most of the second half of the season, where a lot of Yankee fans are starting to get a little anxiety. So a couple of moves before the start of the series, as we knew, Giancarlo Stanton out for a while with the Achilles, finally making his return after a successful rehab assignment, as well as taking some BP against Severino and I guess not feeling any effects. So he comes back to rejoin the team there. But since he rejoined, they had to drop somebody, so they ended up dropping Estevan Florial back down to the minors there. And it made sense there because Cabrera offers the Yankees a little more flexibility. I guess, again, in that brief time here, Cabrera's been a little bit more impressive. And again, he's more flexible in the field. He can play outfield as well as infield. Florial's is kind of relegated to being a center fielder there. So Stanton was aboard, and the Yankees jumped on James Kilbrarian right away. It was going to be Jameson Taillon versus Kilbrarian, and the Yankees jumped on him right away. In the second inning, already up 2-0. Stanton got an opportunity to get right back into swinging things with the bases loaded. Ripped a single, able to score 2, put the Yankees up at 4-0, and then by the third innings, they chased the starter out of there, up 8-0 in this game, and the Yankees pretty much cruised along the whole way. Probably one of the more interesting caveats was going to be the debut of Greg Weissart. Now, Weissart, you've been hurting a little bit. Rumors that he was going to come here. Now, he was the Yankees' AAA closer with 18 saves. Pitching to a 1.76 ERA with an impressive 67 strikeouts in only 46 innings. And since he was closing games, you figure might be throw his name into the hat there as a solution for the Yankees, who just kind of lost for a while with no Clay Holmes and not sure where his head's at, with Chapman not sure where his head's at, and the Yankees is kind of rotating some guys in there like Trevino, Peralta once in a while. Loaiza good to close games, so possibly Weissart could have been a solution there. So they ended up bringing him up. Reason being is that Nestor Cortez came up with a groin injury, so he needed to go on the IL. So to make a spot for him, they ended up bringing up Weissart, and he would make his debut in this game. And he's also a local guy from Bayshore, New York. Might be a Mets fan, we don't know about that, but did pitch for the Fordham Rams there. So again, a little home flavor for him, but unfortunately his debut was not that good. Now the Yankees had the opportunity to throw him out there. They're already up 13-1. Again, the Oakland's only scratched 1 run against Taillon, who had a good quality start. Only gave up a solo home run in 6 innings of work there. But Weissart, unfortunately, completely imploded. Ended up hitting the first 2 batters he faced. Did get a fly out, but then ended up walking 2 runners, including walking in a runner, a big no-no there. So only able to register 1 out. So, of course, Boone had to yank him out there, and Lucas Lucky had to come up and pick up his mess. Now, he would be ultimately charged with 3 runs total, but again, Lucky was able to get out of that inning and complete the game, and the Yankees would end up taking that first game 13-4 there, and it's good to see the Yankee offense finally put some runs on the board there, and especially just good to see Stanton back there, and then just kind of calm some of the fears that the Yankees were having a lot of these games where they're scoring 1 run and no runs like that. So to drop 13, great way to start off the road trip. Now, the second game of this 4-game set against the Oakland Athletics was going to be the most intriguing for a couple of reasons. Now, if you remember, when the Yankees traded to get Frankie Montas from the A's, they ended up parting with J.P. Sears, the lefty, who the Yankees saw little small doses with, and overall was pretty good ball in pinstripes from the Yankees, whether they used him for the couple of spot starts or out of the bullpen. And of course, going up against Garrett Cole, who, again, Garrett Cole's been hearing it lately. Again, is having kind of a bizarre season, blew up there in his last start against the Toronto Blue Jays. Heard it from the Yankee Stadium crowd. He was, obviously visibly upset in the dugout. And of course, the next game when Alex Manoah hit Judge, you saw Cole come out and draw with him a little bit. So Cole a little chippy lately, and of course, again, he's not really having a great season, or a good season, but not a great Garrett Cole season. So. And of course, you heard all the murmurs again with Jordan Montgomery, because once he's in the St. Louis Cardinal uniform, again in his first few starts, 4-0 with a ERA, which covered last time, below 0 there, and including his last start in Wrigley Field, pitching a complete game one hitter. So it's like you traded these great guys away. While you look at J.P. Sears, his record before this game was 5-0 with an ERA of 1.93. So not too many people talking about that one, but again, almost equally as painful as the Jordan Montgomery. You just, trade him away, and the guy, comes up aces there, while the guy you had, Frankie Montas, was struggling a little bit. So there's going to be an opportunity for the Yankees, for Cole maybe to rectify himself a little bit, and for the Yankees to kind of, maybe to stop the J.P. Sears there and just get a win against him, just to quiet down. It's like, hey, why are you trading all these great guys there? So the game was scoreless into the fifth inning with 2 runners on. Aaron Judge hit a ball dead center field, crushed it, put the Yankees up at that point 3-0. It would be his 49th home run of the season, and put the Yankees up 3-0 against Sears. And that was more enough for Cole, who pitched great into the 8th inning. Just gave up a solo home run to Jonah Bride there. That was his only blemish. Scattered his 3 hits. Again, just gave up the solo home run, but pitched into the 8th inning, a dominating performance with 11 strikeouts. Again, something Garrett Cole needed. It needed to start like this, again, on the road. Again, I know Oakland may not be the greatest hitting team in the world, but again, it's been a while since we had, you just want to see Cole get a win. Again, he kind of got a couple of hard luck losses. Of course, again, he had the 1-0 loss against the Rays, where the Yankee offense gave him nothing. And of course, got the no decision, giving 7 shutout innings against the Seattle Mariners. But again, the Yankees scratching no runs across from him. So some of it is bad luck, and some of it has been his own doing. But good to see him have a good performance and get enough offense to get a win there. The Yankees will take the first game 3-2. In the 9th inning there, got a little dicey. That used Wandy Peralta again in the 9th inning, just because right now the Yankees don't really have a closer this time. They were able to scratch 1 run across, but Peralta finally able to get the last out there, and the Yankees hold on to take the 3-2 win, and again take the first 2 games of the 4-game series. And now your eyes are widening up. Maybe the Yankees could take 3 or 4, maybe even sweep this, and have a nice little winning streak here, to help get into September. So the Yankees are riding a 5-game winning streak, which looked like a 20-game winning streak. This is what the Yankees have been struggling the previous weeks before that. Unfortunately, the Yankees hit a bit of a wall in the remaining final 2 games of the Oakland series. Now, Domingo Germán was on the mound against Adam Oller, and again, you would kind of like the Yankees' chances to win. This is the way they were in the first 2 games. But unfortunately, the Yankees was pretty much go back to their kind of not scoring runs in any ways. In fact, they were barely lucky to able to get a hit, only scratching 1 official hit in this game, which was a double by Cabrera in the 6th inning. Now, the good news for the Yankees in this game is that Domingo Germán also gave a strong performance, pitching into the 8th inning, 7.2 innings there. No runs, only scattering 3 hits there with 5 strikeouts. But unfortunately, the Yankee offense didn't back him up at all. Now, the Yankees, despite only having 1 hit in this game, almost won it. And they took a lead in the 10th inning with a couple of runners on. Benintendi and Donaldson on base, able to score on a wild pitch by AJ Puck there with DJ LeMahieu up at the bat there. It was a wild pitch as well as a throw to home, went straight too, so both runners able to score. The Yankees take a 2-0 lead there, and you figure, all right, great, 2-0, and they could win, walk away and take the first 2 games of the series. Unfortunately for Rob Marinaccio, who overall for the Yankees have had a great season and no blemishes there, finally had a blemish, did a big no-no, again with the ghost runner on, gave up a 2-run home run to Stephen Vogt, tied the game at that point. This would go into the 11th inning, the bottom of the 11th there, and then unfortunately the Yankees unable to turn a double play, actually a bad throw by DJ LeMahieu from second to first base, and Oakland was able to come around, put the winning run across the plate, and the Yankees drop in the first game in pretty bad fashion. And now I wouldn't call this a terrible loss. I know they had the lead early 2-0, and they only scratched 1 hit in the game, but just the fact the Yankees won the 5 games before that, you don't really feel too bad about the loss. I mean, the Yankees had some real bad losses against the Boston Red Sox and Fenway. Some of those losses were much worse than this one. This was just more of a little bit of annoyance. And again, the fact that it seemed like the Yankees turned the things around a little bit. You got Stanton back a little bit. They're hitting a little bit better. Some of the bullpen guys are performing like Loaiza. So yeah, they lose this game, but you don't feel too terrible about that. And then you finally say, all right, maybe we could take the final game, the Sunday afternoon finale. Now, a little after the 3rd game, Yankees kind of got some, actually, I would say, double bad news. One of them was on Zach Britton, now working his way back on a rehab assignment in his second game. Had to be taken off the mound. Turns out that it's a leg cramp. It's nothing bad. It doesn't really seem like it's going to be derail his return too much. Boone said that he needs about 8 or 9 games before he can officially join the big club back in the Bronx. So it looks like we will see Britton at least by the first or second week in September. As well, Chapman, this was really out of left field. In fact, I don't even know if there's ever been an injury like this before. Turns out, again, we haven't seen him in a couple of games. You're kind of wondering why. Well, since retroactive, August 24th, has been dealing with an infection on his leg due to an infection from a tattoo he got on his leg, which, you're in the middle of the season. I mean, is this really the time to get a tattoo? You can't wait a month or two, wait till the season's over. You really have to get this tattoo? I mean, no one can see it anyway. You have your pants on. I don't know why he needs a tattoo like this. So he's going to be out for a while. Looks like this needs a little penicillin and some antibiotics to get over this. But at a time when the Yankees are down a little bit with Scott Efros on the IL, as well as Albert Abreu. And again, I know Holmes is working his way back, but the Yankee bullpen a little bit thin there. Really not maybe the time you want to get a tattoo. So, and again, he's probably after this season, I think he's done. I think this Yankees is fed up with him. So whatever that situation is. But as for the final game itself, now Frankie Montas, you think he would have been slated. He was slated, could have pitched this game if you wanted. You figure it's where he used to pitch. You'll be familiar with the mound on Oakland. But they decided to go with Clark Schmidt, the spot start on this one. Maybe give him a little extra breather with there. But this game was not, this was an absolute dud for the Yankees. They jumped on Clark Schmidt early. The Yankees were in a 4-0 hole. The Yankees would scratch across a run, but the Yankees would go down in a whimper, 4-1. Had to split the series 2-2 in Oakland, which you don't really want that. The Yankees really should have took 3 out of 4. Really should have swept the team. But at this point, still, Yankees, you still feel a little bit better than you did about 2 weeks ago when the Yankees were just not scoring anything. You had all these injuries, and you didn't know if Stanton was going to come back and all like that. Oh, my God, and all the trades Cashman made were terrible. At least things are a little bit more stable now, and now they could go over to Anaheim, another team that's struggling, and possibly put a little win streak there together before going to see the Rays in St. Pete. So it's a little outside of Yankee land, but of course worth mentioning that, just for the fact that Aaron Judge is going to be a free agent at the end of the season, Seattle young superstar phenom Julio Rodriguez signs a mega deal with them, a 12-year deal through 2034. And actually, there's a lot of things that kick in and options I'll try to break down. Actually, could kick in and keep him in a Seattle Mariner uniform through 2039. So it's like, we're talking about like, futuristic Blade Runner type contract here. I mean, it could be a possibly, again, up to a 17-year deal with, again, if all that kicks in, could be worth up to $470 million. So similar to Pat Mahomes, the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs there, you're talking about, it might be like baseball's first close to $500 million contract. And it's just kind of interesting these big numbers are being thrown out there just for the fact that the Yankees offered Aaron Judge, $213 million, which of course for me and you is great, but in baseball terms and with these free agents, it seems like peanuts there. So this is going to be very interesting. And of course, it's just what the new thing that you've seen a lot of teams do right now. Of course, the Tampa Bay Rays are usually cash strapped, given an 11-year, $182 million deal to Juan DeFranco, and of course the San Diego Padres with the big $340 million deal to Fernando Tatis Jr., who right now unfortunately is on suspension because the whole PED thing, and that's a whole disaster there in itself. But nevertheless, the whole thing is that locking these players up, and again, Rodriguez just 21 years old, so you understand why the case is versus someone like Judge, who's now 31 years old. A little 10-year difference there. But this is kind of interesting that Judge probably feels like he missed the boat. This kind of was on a year-by-year arbitration basis. And yeah, he's going to get a big chunk of money from somebody, but, not going to get probably any sort of mega deal like that, $300 or $400 million in that case. Now, with this contract, very interesting. So the base of it is a 7-year, $105 million guarantee, just a base of it. Now, after the 8th year, there's some club options that kick in, as well as player performance. So it's probably the way, you're going to see a lot of contracts being done right now. Because, again, the days of this giving, like, A-Rod $300 million, where, yeah, he's good for 5 or 6 years, and then the rest of the years he's hurt, and he's not playing as well, he's terrible, and you're kind of stuck with him and paying him like $35 million per year. I think now a lot of baseball GMs and owners are getting a little smart about this, how they want to reward these players and at the same time compensate them to keep playing up and keep healthy. So this is a contract that has all sorts of incentives where if the player finishes in certain rankings of MVP voting, that's how more dollars kick into this thing. Again, that's why it could be anywhere up to $470 million with all these little perks and things kicking in like that. But it seems at least at the very base of it, It'll be a 12-year, 200 and change $1 million contract at the very least. But again, if all these other super things kick in and he goes the full 17 years with them, this again could be worth anywhere up to $470 million. So not too bad for a 21-year-old. And again, he missed both of the series against the Yankees. So maybe as Yankee fans, you really get to see him up close. I mean, you might see highlights, but we didn't really get to see him at Yankee Stadium. Of course, maybe don't see how great he is. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of money, and to lock someone up that very early, kind of interesting like that. But again, just for the fact that now the Yankees are going to have to negotiate with Judge, who is clearly going to be the MVP. Just the season he's having, a phenomenal season. I mean, he picked the right time to have a good season, and unfortunately, might be a situation where maybe another team is just going to outbid the Yankees, which could possibly happen. Just to see the potential of money now that's floating out around there. Well, just as a reminder, I can't promise you $470 million, but I can promise you great Yankee content. So if you haven't done it already, make sure you subscribe to this podcast, Section 420 Talkin Yankees. Subscribe now.